It's Em. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm very excited to announce that we are doing a 24-hour readathon. It is not a true 24-hour readathon though. I cherish my sleep and I believe breaks are important, so I am splitting this up into two 12-hour days. So I'm very excited about that. I have a list of books that I'm hoping to get through, starting with the two that I'm currently reading right now, which I will get into. But it is the perfect day to read. It is rainy outside. It's just chilly and gloomy, and so I'm gonna make some tea, I'm gonna light some candles, we're really gonna set the ambiance, and I'm so excited. Also, I know it's only November 4th as I'm filming this right now, and when this releases, it will be the 10th or 11th, I think. So I know we're still in early November. Please, I understand, but I am gonna be decorating for Christmas today. I love the holiday season. Christmas is one of my favorite holidays, and so I have to decorate. So we'll be doing that as well. I have all of the books that I want to read physically and as an audiobook so that I can do other activities while I read, because I can't sit still for 12 hours. That's just a lot. We're gonna be doing some crocheting, maybe some journaling. We'll definitely have to stop by the library because I need to return some books. Let's read for 12 hours today. Right now, it is just past 9 o'clock, which is when I wanted to start. I am reading The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book in the Inheritance Games series, which I absolutely ate up that first book. I read it in one session. I think I rated it a 4.5 or 5 stars, since you can't do 0.5s on Goodreads. But it was definitely a top read for this year because I just absolutely loved it. So finally, I was able to pick up this book at the library because, again, if you guys remember from my previous videos, I'm on a book buying ban, so any books I don't have, we check it out. But that's great because we love supporting our local libraries. I am about halfway through this one so far. I listened to the audiobook for the first half. I'll probably do the audiobook for the rest of it, just for consistency's sake in my brain. But I am really thoroughly enjoying this book. As of right now, where I am, I would rate it probably a 3.5, maybe a solid 3.7. I'm hoping that as we finish the book, we just get over the four-star edge, but if not, this is still a solid read and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I am also reading And I Darken by Kiersten White. This has been a slow read for me and I haven't thoroughly been enjoying it as much as I thought I would. The build up to the main story that we read in the blurb about is almost 80 pages before we really get into anything, and we're just sort of relationship building and world building in those first 80 pages. I really like to just get into the nitty gritty, so if it takes over 50 pages to describe a relationship or to describe how a world works or to build any part of a story that's not the main plot and why we're here, it kind of irks me. I'm currently on page 122, so on chapter 16. It's taken me 3 days to get to chapter 16. So I don't know, maybe I'll start doing this one on audiobook so that I can do something else while I read this rather than read it physically. We'll see. So far, it's a solid 2.5 for me out of 5. But I am hoping to finish it. I don't like DNFing books because I like to know that I 100% did not like the whole thing if I'm gonna not like a book. Because what if I just DNF'd it, but the ending was spectacular, you know? And I know that doesn't happen often. When you DNF, it's because you know in your heart of hearts that it just wasn't the right book for you at the time, but I haven't started this one, but I am hoping to get through The Nine Eyes of Lucian, the Critical Role book that I was so excited about by Madeline Rowe. I'm nervous because I keep hyping this one up in my head, but I also hyped up And I Darken by Kiersten White, so now I'm getting nervous. I also want to get through the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. This is the illustrated edition. They're so pretty, aren't they? And finally, you can't see it because it's on my iPad and I don't have a picture of it yet. because I didn't download it on my iPad, but I received an ARC. It's called Shades of Power by Jenny Grimes, and I am so excited to be reading this one. This is my first official ARC, and so I will be getting into this one, doing some annotations. I'm very excited. So far, my fellow readers who received this ARC have been giving it high praise, so I'm very excited. It is, I believe, an enemies to lovers romantasy. So overall, this is our little stack of books. That would leave 3 books left on my November TBR, which is great because I'm traveling at the end of the month. There's a lot going on, so I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to finish all of my books if I was not reading for 24 hours in these next 2 days. So let's get started. Let's set the mood by lighting candles, getting some tea. We'll start decorating for Christmas as we listen to the rest of the Hawthorne Legacy. And then we'll definitely be doing some crocheting and some cozy gaming today as well. And I will update you as I get through some of these books. Just under 3 hours in. We are almost at our 9-hour mark. Let's talk about the Hawthorne Legacy. I will put this up at a 4. I think overall it still sits towards a 3.7 star, but the ending did get me a little bit. I did not predict entirely what was going to happen, so overall, it was a good book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I am going to the library first to return this and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros, and then I will be checking out The Final Gambit as well. I don't know if I'll be doing a read of that particularly for this video, but I do hope to get it done in November. I will be listening to an audiobook as I go to the library so that I have time to continue reading. So far, it's a good day. We're all decorated for Christmas. I think I'm going to start reading And I Darken on audiobook just to wrap up what I've been currently reading this past week. So I'm gonna start And I Darken on audiobook. Like I said before, I'm about 70 pages in roughly, so we'll get that started. Okay, so I have been listening to And I Darken for probably 45 minutes on audiobook, and I think I'm gonna have to DNF this book. It is so slow. I don't think this one's for me, so we're gonna have to probably put it down. I might try and come back to it later today just to see if like my mind changes or how I feel, but as of right now, I think I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna pick up Critical Role on audiobook, the 9 Lives of Lucian, I believe is what it's called. Not the 9 Lives of Lucian, the 9 Eyes of Lucian. I don't know why I can never get that book right. And get started on that one while I go to Old Navy, and there's a Barnes & Noble next door, so I'm gonna walk in because I saw a Fourth Wing section on Instagram. I didn't find what I wanted at Old Navy, so I'm a little sad, but we're gonna go to Barnes & Noble and everything will be okay. They didn't have a Fourth Wing display. I looked everywhere. I was also looking for a reading journal, did not see one. We're just about 5 hours in, just over, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update. To start, during my errands, I was listening to And I Darken by Kirsten White. I think I'm going to DNF it. It is so slow. I'm not feeling it. I'm not having a good time. Yeah, I'm on chapter 21, page 160, and things are still just too slow for me, so I think I'm gonna DNF it for now. We'll see if I pick it back up, but I'm sorry, it has to go. So then I started The Nine Eyes of Lucian by Madeleine Roux, based off of Critical Role's second campaign, where we follow the villain in that campaign is Lucian, and this is his backstory. I'm enjoying it. I'm not as attached to the book as I thought I would be. I'm not as enthralled. I am on page 35, chapter 6 right now. That's our little reading update. Now, as you guys know, I went to the library and I did get Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and while I was there, I went to the buyback section and I got 2 books. These were both $1. I got Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These have been on my TBR for so long and I just never had physical copies of them, and I cannot believe that I found them for $1. I did go to Barnes & Noble and I purchased and donated 2 books. I think it's so important to make sure that kids have access to books and books that they would love. So I donated The Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton Lee Stewart and Esperanza Rising by Pam and Uz Ryan, but they were both life-changing books for me when I was about 7 or 8. I read them for the Oregon Battle of the Books. It's a competition where middle schoolers and elementary schoolers all get together in their grades and read a bunch of books and then go to competition. And so in these competitions, someone is asking questions and the team has to brainstorm together to see if they can remember what happened in that series or what happened in that book and answer the questions. And you can go on to nationals, and it's a whole thing, and it's just so much fun. So that's why I picked those 2 books. They were a big part of my childhood, and I hope that they can be a big part of somebody else's. We now have 6.5 hours left of today's readathon before we take our little break and then start again tomorrow. I am hoping to finish The Nine Eyes of Lucian today. Taking a nap for almost an hour. I like the plot line of The Nine Eyes of Lucian, but I'm going to be honest in that just the way it flows, my eyes were drooping. I was falling asleep as I was reading, and that usually only happens if the writing style or like just the flow of what's going on just isn't for me. So I'll keep doing this one on audiobook, definitely, because the story is interesting and I can listen to it at like 2.5 speed. Yeah, I think I'm awake now. I'm going to make some hot cocoa and maybe go play some cozy games or something to keep me awake so that I don't keep on napping. 10 minutes have gone by, but it's so warm in the couch and comfy. I have to get up. Okay, I have to get up. Otherwise, nope, we have to get up. Just over 3 hours left, and I have been listening to The Nine Eyes of Lucian by Madeleine Roux on audiobook. It's dragging for me a little bit. I am not intrigued really to pay attention, and I'm kind of disappointed because That is 2 out of the 3 books that we've read today that I am just not thoroughly enjoying. I had such high hopes because it has really good reviews on Goodreads. I think this is a average of 3.8 or 4 stars on Goodreads. So I had hopes, and this is not a big book. I could probably have finished this in a couple hours had I sat down and read it, but I tried that and fell asleep. That's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think I'm going to DNF it. I still have Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo on my list. Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, that's also on my list. I'm gonna go eat some dinner, take just like a mini break, and we'll come back and we'll read some more. I am also gonna go ahead and pause the timer for dinner because I just don't feel like reading right now after my little disappointments. So I'm gonna give myself like half an hour to just take a break, de-book, if you will. I'm back from eating my dinner and I went over my little TBR for this month and read through a couple of the books and just decided I'm gonna read the final Gambit. I finished the second book today. I'm ready to just finish off this series. So we're gonna read that tonight and I'm super excited. I still have 3 hours left on the clock because I did pause the timer to eat dinner. I still have tomorrow to read a bunch as well and I'm very excited about that. I plan on possibly reading Clockwork Angel or maybe Crooked Kingdom. We'll see. It is almost 11 o'clock and I finished The Nine Eyes of Lucian, and I would give this a 2.5 out of 5. It did end up getting pretty interesting towards the end, but just the fact that it took me over half of the book to get into it to begin with, I think I just have to give it a 2.5. So a little disappointed, but glad I finished it. And I believe I have a little bit more time left in this 24-hour readathon, so I am going to start the final Gambit, and I will update you guys tomorrow. Good night. This morning at about 8:30 and did decide to start reading, but we have now hit 4 hours, so very exciting. This is day 2 of the 24-hour reading challenge because I split it into 2 12-hour reading challenges because I really love sleep. So this morning and a little bit of last night, I started the final Gambit. This is the 3rd book in the Inheritance Games trilogy. This is what I needed. This is the recovery book that we needed after 2 sad books. I'm so disappointed in And I Darken and The Nine Eyes of Lucian. And I'm not as disappointed in The Nine Eyes of Lucian as I was in And I Darken because I did finish The Nine Eyes of Lucian, but I was a little upset that it took over half the book for it to truly become interesting. Again, it's a lot of backstory, it's a lot of building up to a certain point. I finished that book last night, gave it a 2.5, so 2 stars on Goodreads. Immediately picked up the final Gambit because I am just invested in this series. This is my first read through. So glad this is what I needed. I am on chapter 50, page 195. My only issue with this book is the constant love triangle between Avery, Jameson, and Grayson. because it just feels a little tedious at this point. It doesn't feel completely necessary, and maybe something will change, maybe something happens that makes that particular part of the story more interesting, but I am just so invested in the riddle and game solving that is going on right now. I want to know where Toby is. I want to know what the deal is with Eve. So this has been really great. I am very excited to finish this book. After this, I will probably turn on an audiobook of Sanctuary by Carol Licks, or maybe Crooked Kingdom. Leve, this most beautiful singer, she has a book club and they are reading Little Women, and while I'm not a full active participant of that book club, the books that she picks are very good, and so I do try to read them when I can. And this month is Little Women, and I have just been meaning to do a reread of that. I want to do an annotated read of this book as well, so I will be adding that to my November TBR, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to be doing this, a little bit of audiobook reading, some crocheting perhaps, and I still have Shades of Power by Jenny Grimes to finish. Let's get back to reading, but I wanted to give you guys a little update. Alrighty, so I finished The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I rated it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The love triangle was tedious. If you have not read the series, skip about 10 seconds. I was not surprised that Eve was not trustworthy. Let's just put it that way. Not a shock. We have 6 hours left. We've just hit the 6 hours. So I have started listening on audiobook to Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices series, and we're following Tessa Gray, who does show up in the Mortal Instruments and the Dark Artifices series. So I'm very excited about this. I'm going to be crocheting for a little bit, so we're going to do some cozy activities while we listen to this on audiobook. I'm very excited. I'll update you guys in a little bit. Okay, I have to pause the timer really quickly because I do have to hop onto a meeting in about 5 minutes, but I wanted to do a quick update. I am on page 177 of The Clockwork Angel. Loving this book. This is so good. I love that the overall vibe is so different from any of the other Shadowhunter novels that I have read, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I also started Shades of Power by Jenny Grimes. I'm only on like page 17 right now, but it is also very good. It is a dark fae romantasy, so I'm very excited to see where this one's going. I will be back and starting the timer after my meeting. It should only last an hour, so I will get back to you, but I wanted to give you a quick update. Alrighty, my friends, the 24-hour readathon is officially over, so we're going to quickly recap of everything that we read in these last, technically 2 days, and then that will be it. That will be end of the video. So let's get into it really quickly. First, I finished the Hawthorne Legacy. This is the second book in the Inheritance Game series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And then of course, immediately after, I went to the library and picked up the Final Gambit. The reason I do not have the Hawthorne Legacy is because it was also from the library and I returned it. So we don't have that particular book, but we do have the Final Gambit. I rated the Hawthorne Legacy, I believe, a 4 out of 5, and this one was a 3.5 out of 5, but it was a really great series overall. Would highly recommend this series. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next, we started And I Darken by Kiersten White, and then very quickly DNF'd And I Darken by Kiersten White because unfortunately the book was just a little too slow for me. I read 161 pages, and I do have a rule that if I am just not enjoying the book by 100 pages, I don't have to continue. And so we went well over that rule, and it wasn't the right book for me. I don't know if it was I just wasn't in the mood, because I'm a very strong mood reader, so maybe I just wasn't in the mood, or perhaps this one just overall isn't for me. So we did DNF it, but I got 161 pages in. Next, I read The Nine Eyes of Lucian by Madeline Rue. I listened to this one mostly on audiobook, but did finish this as a physical read, and I rated it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Because this one was also very difficult for me to get into. I really struggled with the pacing in the beginning, but the ending was actually pretty interesting. So I didn't DNF it, and I'm glad I didn't, but just overall, this might not have been my favorite book of the readathon. And finally, to end our readathon, we started The Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, as well as Shades of Power by Jenny Grimes. Shades of Power is an arc that will be releasing March 11th of 2025, so keep an eye out. It is a dark fae romantasy. I'm very excited. I'm only about 20 pages in right now, but from what I've read so far, it's actually really great, and I'm excited to see what happens. And then of course, we have Clockwork Angel. I am just over halfway through. I'm on chapter 12. Cassandra Clare never fails me. I absolutely love her writing. I love all of her books and every series that she's written so far. I've only read 2, but has yet to fail me, and this one is just also so good. And what I love about Clockwork Angel is we're still in the realm of shadow hunters and downworlders, but the environment and the vibe is just so different because this takes place way before any of the other books. This takes place in Victorian England in around 1830s to 1900s, so the vibe really is completely different, but I absolutely love it. It's more dark academia than any of the other books that she's written, or at least that I've read so far, but absolutely love. Alrighty, my friends, so that does conclude our 24-hour readathon. If you liked this video, please show some love by giving it a thumbs up or hitting that subscribe button. And remember, take care of yourselves and be kind to one another. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.